back to the BookEnds YouTube channel. I'm James McGowan,
I'm Jessica Faust.
and it's our favorite video of the month time.
Our favorite.
Yeah, isn't it?
Maybe not everybody's.
Not everybody's, but it's ours. We are talking about what we read in January.
Oh, yeah.
I have 2 books, and we need a thumbnail.
I did 3.
Let's get started then. Why don't you go first since you have more than I do?
Okay. Well, since you mentioned it, I guess I'll start with Transcendent Kingdom by Gyasi. And I meant to actually Google her name before, and I apologize if I mispronounced that. I really like this. It's about a family who immigrated to Alabama from Ghana. And her first book was Homegoing. Did you read Homegoing?
One of my all-time favorite books.
Is that sort of the first? Is this a series? Is it about the same family? Okay, so I wasn't sure when reading about the book if I should have read that first.
No, you didn't have to.
But this is honestly, her writing style was so amazing. So it's really a dual timeline of this woman talking about growing up in Alabama and her family. Her father ended up abandoning them and going back to Ghana. I don't know how much I can give away. So it's a dual timeline between that and now her as an adult. She has brought her mother to live with her in her apartment. Her mother is suffering from depression. And so her mother is now living with her. So it's that modern day story, that current story. But the way she weaves the 2 stories together, and it's, a typical dual timeline is a chapter here and a chapter there and a chapter here. And I understand why authors do that. She does not do that.
Nope.
And I kept thinking, does she base her writing, does she sort of plan for themes? Because it would sort of be woven together from a theme from the past that weaves in to the present.
Have you heard anything about her first book?
No.
It's basically it's a novel, but every chapter is a new generation of the same family. And the first family, it's 2 sisters that are sort of just separated in Africa. And then it's just the 2, what's the word I'm looking for? The 2 family tree lines.
Okay.
And it does the same thing. Like the way she just weaves them together thematically, it's so well done.
So well done.
She has no regard for a linear storyline.
Which I love.
And I mean, that book, her first book came out in 2016. I've been waiting for her next one. I think it was 2016. And then when I read that, I'm like, oh, I completely understand why it took that long. It's just so well done.
It is. She's a beautiful writer. It's a beautiful book. I really recommended this one. So clearly we both love it.
Yes, I love that book. I don't know which one to do first. I will do Kristen Hanna's The Nightingale first. I read this I put out a tweet, I think in December, about what I should read next. And one of my followers told me that this was a must read, one of her favorite books. And then once she said that, everybody just kept replying to her yes, you have to read this one.
Oh, okay.
And I get why. It's a World War II book. It's 2 sisters in France who one sister's house has been occupied by a German soldier, and the other sister is desperate to join the revolution. And cool. She's she's delivering pamphlets for the French uprising, but it's so fast-paced, even though it's a brick of a book. It's so fast-paced. I love Kristen Hanna's writing style. I think it's super commercial and you really get hooked in, very emotional.
Her books, she really is tapped into a wide variety of subject matters too in her books.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that too, because the first one I read of hers was The Great Alone, and they're just so different.
Also a brick of a book.
Also a brick. Yeah, she just writes bricks of books. But yeah, I thought it was quick-paced. It was fun. When I first got it, I thought this is going to take me forever, just because it's a historical fiction, which usually takes me longer to read, and it's that big. But I got through it in a week and a half. That's how.
Oh yeah, she has a very commercial pace to her.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. I'll save that one for you if you'd like to read it.
Good, thank you. So I don't read a lot of essay collections, but I have found that the beginning of the year I read essay collections.
Okay.
But then by the end of the year I don't. So I had read one in December that we had talked about. And this month I read Wow, No Thank You, Samantha Irby.
Oh, I
by
see that
Samantha.
one all over.
It's all over, which is
Right, yeah.
why I read it, because as we have discussed, I don't often know what a book is about. I just buy it.
Yeah,
And
which
this was one
is
of
the
them.
kind of impulsiveness that I love to see.
You know, I don't know if I mentioned this in our last video, but what I've discovered is after spending a part of every day evaluating what to read by going through my query manager, I don't want to do that in my free time. So I just pick up a book and I read it.
Yeah, and me, this is the key difference between me and Jessica, and it can be applied everywhere, is that I am obsessive. And it takes me a long time to overthink what I'm going to read next. So
Well, I used to do that. And
Well,
then
good to
I
know.
would find I would go weeks without reading anything. And I finally just said, just pick up a book and start reading. And that's what I started doing, just picking up books and reading. And it's much easier for me to enter a new book than to feel that sort of, I want the same feeling again. And I just got over that. So this is a New York Times bestseller, Samantha Irby's Wow, No Thank You. Very funny. She's a very funny writer. It talks about everything from being, I want to say 50, but she might be 40, to being 20. And she sort of makes fun of herself for the differences of who she used to be versus who she is. And it's a lot of fun. Essays, so it's a really quick read, which is one of the reasons I like essays. I feel like I can just sort of dive in and out as I want. So
and you can put it down when you're done with one.
Yeah, so if you're getting COVID fatigue, if you are deep in the midst of COVID fatigue, this is something fun just to read and have fun with.
The first book I read this year was The Push by Ashley Audrain. I read this in one afternoon.
Wow.
It was so compulsive, like page turning. It's about a mother who gives birth to her first child and there's no connection. She's convinced the daughter, it's what was that? We need to talk about Kevin, something like that. That was where the son is crazy, but she's convinced that the daughter is, she's
like
there's
baby
something not
teeth.
right, huh?
Baby teeth.
Yeah, like baby teeth. So she's convinced that the daughter is violent, and there are lots of reasons why. And she's convinced that the daughter hates her guts, and there are lots of reasons why. So it follows sort of her coming to terms with that, and then a huge accident, which involves a push. And I feel like I cannot say any more about this. This is why.
So now that's fair. Is it sort of a little on that sort of thriller horror edge then?
No, I actually thought it leaned the other way. I thought it leans a little more like women's fiction with thriller elements.
Yeah, okay.
Because it was a lot about motherhood. It flashes back to her childhood with her mom, and even her mom with her grandmother.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain stuff without giving away, but I think it's such a good read, and it's super quick paced. Like I said, I read it in like 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
But it was really good.
Right. Okay, my last one was Rich Cohen's Pee-wee's, and any sports fan probably recognizes the name Rich Cohen. He's written about the Chicago Bears. I don't know if he did the Cubs. He's a huge Cubs fan. I actually read this because I was invited to a book talk, a Zoom book talk that he was doing with a college friend of mine. So I read the book, and if you are a hockey parent, especially, but if you are a sports parent of any kind, it's a great book. It really, you will see yourself, you will see your friends, you will see your enemies, you will see your frenemies, you will see everybody in this book. He does a really good job of writing the game, where you can really visualize a game as it's happening. He really does a good job of writing people. This is actually, the subtitle is Confessions of a Hockey Parent. It's a memoir. And I kept thinking, like, one of the questions he was asked was about the people he wrote about, and if they came up to him when the book came out and said, "Is that me?" And he said, "Well, I really disguised them well." And I thought, but did you? And I'm curious from an agent standpoint of a writer writing a memoir and being able to disguise people. And he did point out that his son is on a different hockey team this year, that this was written a couple of years ago. And he has people from this year's team going, is this mean? He's like, I didn't even know you then.
Well, I was about to say, there's always going to be people with like guilty consciences that have to ask. So.
Maybe it'll change some behaviors. I don't know. Quick read, fun read. Like I said, if you're a sports parent, I would also say dance parents fall into this category. This is a fun read. I recommend it. And it's kind of a cool cover.
Yeah, that is a cool cover. I like how simple it is.
Yeah, I do too. And if you look really closely, it actually is the ice rink and you can see the skate marks.
Oh, that's cool. You can't really see that on the Zoom.
Yeah, you can if you see the cover. So
cool. Well, that's what we read this month. What did you read? We want to know. We need February suggestions. Don't hesitate to put them in the comments.
I've already read a book and a half.
You?
Yeah.
It's the 4th.
Well, we had all that snow, so I threw on some audiobooks and shoveled for hours.
Oh, what a show off. I'm counting picture books next month.
And I'm going to keep it a secret until we discuss it next month.
That sounds good. That's a good teaser. We got to keep people coming back. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we're looking forward to seeing you back here next time.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.